Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Angeline and I am the marketing associate here at Knowles Teacher Initiative. Thank you for joining us today for today's presentation, which will provide an overview of the Knowles Teacher Initiative. So during the presentation today, we encourage you to use the Q&A box on your screen to ask any questions you might have. I will relay those questions to Jen at the end of the presentation, and I'll be sorting through them to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. If I have time, I'll also answer some of them as typed responses, and you'll be able to see those as the presentation goes on. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jen.
Hey everyone. The Knowles Teacher Initiative was established by Janet and Harry Knowles in 1999 to increase the number of high quality high school math and science teachers and ultimately to improve math and science education in the United States. At Knowles, we believe that teachers can and should be the primary agents of educational improvement. And this belief is woven throughout all aspects of our programming, including our Teaching Fellows program, which is what we'll discuss in depth today. Let's begin first with an overview of the program. While new teachers are going through a certification or licensure program, they're often surrounded by a cohort of other new teachers, and they have dedicated mentors that are with them in their classrooms almost all the time. In addition, because they are usually connected to college campuses, they often have access to many resources, including journals, experts, classroom materials, and classrooms. The first few years of teaching then can often be jarring for new teachers. Often they have a sense of isolation as they navigate their new school environment. Mentoring programs in some cases aren't as supportive or as comprehensive as they need to be. And schools aren't always able to provide the intellectual resources through professional development or the physical classroom materials that new teachers need to be able to enact the vision of teaching in their classrooms that they want. While they are attempting to learn a challenging new profession, they often find themselves under-resourced. The Knowles Teaching Fellowship was designed specifically to address some of the challenges faced by new high school math and science teachers to help them thrive as new teachers and become teacher leaders who are able to support other teachers and improve math and science education for all students. The Knowles Teaching Fellowship Program is an intensive and cohesive 5-year program that supports early career secondary math and science teachers in their efforts to develop teaching expertise and to lead from the classroom. Each year, we award approximately 35 fellowships to new math and science teachers who have outstanding content knowledge in math or science, are committed to becoming great teachers, and possess potential to become the kinds of teacher leaders who make a difference in schools. In phase 1 of the fellowship program, which is the first 3 years of the program, fellows reflect on and deepen their own mathematics or science knowledge. They develop the specialized forms of content knowledge that is needed for teaching, and they use that knowledge to create profound learning opportunities for the students. Fellows learn increasingly sophisticated ways of examining their own classroom cultures and instruction by applying analytical lenses to data that help them see and then increase the learning opportunities being offered to all of their students. While focusing on these areas, fellows are also supported in becoming a community of inquiry that engages with and as critical friends. This emphasis on inquiry with others serves as the foundation for teachers leading from their own classrooms. In phase 2, the last 2 years of our program, the focus of inquiry shifts from a fellow's classroom to their professional community in which the fellows work. Fellows are supported in bringing their school colleagues into their work by making themselves vulnerable and open to others' perspectives. Fellows grapple with their own professional goals and commitments and what it means for them to lead within their context. Additionally, they learn to understand their school and local community as a system. They understand multiple leverage points for change, and they experiment with ways to lead those communities toward better outcomes. In addition to the curriculum of the fellowship that I just described, equally as important to the impact of our program is the use of cohorts to build connection and community. We built our fellows program on a cohort model that allows fellows to connect with peers who are at roughly the same point in their teaching careers. And as our fellows finish the Teaching Fellows program, they tell us that there has been no greater professional support than that which comes from the cohort of teachers who go through the fellowship with them. The groups that fellows form in their cohorts allow them to experience small inquiry-focused learning communities and imagine what they look and feel like. They allow them to experiment with various roles that teachers might play in those communities. Fellows are supported to reimagine their working relationships within their own high schools. Teachers who wish to make a significant impact in their classroom and schools must seek equitable outcomes for students, because the US educational system has traditionally marginalized some learners, leaving them without access to equitable instruction in high school math and science, resulting in fewer opportunities to engage as empowered citizens or to enter and thrive in mathematics and science fields. Improving education for all students in the United States requires teachers who are able to work collectively with a wide range of colleagues and stakeholders in order to combat inequities and create more equitable spaces for students to learn math and science. Ultimately, our goal is to support the development of teachers who recognize their role and their power in the school system and beyond, and feel empowered to impact that system in support of more equitable outcomes for students. As such, equity and inclusion are a key thread of the Knowles Teaching Fellowship. Over the course of the 5-year program, fellows investigate how their personal identity influences equitable instruction, how teachers influence equity within their classroom and school community, and how teachers can grow their circle of influence. Specifically, fellows engage in learning experiences that support their development across 3 levels of transformation with respect to equity and inclusion: personal, interpersonal, and systemic. The Knowles Summer Conference is the official start to each fellowship year. This 3-day meeting takes place in July, usually in Philadelphia. It is a distinctive event that brings together all members of the Knowles community, typically around 250 participants, who interact with, learn from, and provide critical feedback to each other within a variety of settings and structures. All 5 cohorts of teaching fellows attend the meeting, along with senior fellows who are engaged in specific activities related to summer conference, as well as the staff and other experts in math and science. The summer conference is divided between opportunities for fellows to work within cohorts and opportunities for them to engage with the wider community. In the mornings, teaching fellows begin the work of the year aligned with the specific phase of the fellowship which they are in. In the afternoons, meeting participants attend their choice of learning sessions that have been proposed, reviewed, designed, and are led by fellows. These learning sessions may be structured as an interactive presentation, a workshop, or a collaborative learning group. Fellows who lead these sessions are provided with a coach who is a Knowles Senior Fellow that has participated in our coaching institute and supports session leaders to establish learning goals and evaluate the effectiveness of their session. Fellows also choose a book to read together each summer and organize a variety of unconference style discussions about that book throughout the meeting. And last, fellows have opportunities to organize informal discussions over meals and during meeting breaks that allow them to find common ground, organize working groups, and discuss topics that interest them. For many fellows like Sarah, a science teacher in Queens, New York, the Knowles Summer Conference is often the first time they present at a professional conference. As such, it lays the groundwork for sharing the knowledge they generate with peers on the local, state, and national level. In addition to the Knowles Summer Conference, we bring all members of a cohort together twice a year to meet in person. It's a significant investment, but a crucial piece of our support of beginning teachers. Meeting in person serves several important purposes. First, our staff plan and implement professional development sessions for fellows that introduce fellows to important new ideas in the fields of math and science education and teacher leadership, supports fellows in considering critically how those ideas make sense in their own local contexts, and equip fellows to plan for implementing changes to their practice as teachers and leaders. Second, while our fellows engage in robust work online, the intense time they spend with one another at meetings, at meals, and even socializing late into the night serve as crucial components of community building. Finally, while we strive to be careful stewards of Knowles resources, we also recognize that teachers deserve to be treated like professionals. To that end, we make sure fellows are treated well. We eat good food together, and we make sure our meeting sites are in pleasant places to be and work together. Olivia Bean, a chemistry teacher in Portland, Maine, shared this reflection about attending Knowles events. The biggest impact has been about always improving and changing. Every time I participate in a Knowles event, I end up with at least one new thing I want to incorporate into my practice. Before switching gears to discuss the benefits available to Knowles teaching fellows, I'd like to briefly highlight our senior fellow program. After completing the 5th year of the fellowship, teaching fellows become senior fellows. Through the senior fellows program, former teaching fellows have the opportunity to remain involved in the Knowles community throughout their careers and be supported in ongoing leadership efforts. Knowles senior fellows continue to be supported as teacher leaders. We have programs that support them to lead professional development and coach other teachers. We have a senior fellow run journal that features teacher voices and gives them a platform to speak to other teachers and with others in the educational system. Senior fellows continue to innovate and design new instructional approaches as instructional leaders. Once someone becomes a teaching fellow, our support, we hope, is career-long. Next, I'll provide a brief overview of the fellowship benefits. Knowles teaching fellows receive a comprehensive array of benefits that are designed to support new teachers and emerging teacher leaders. These benefits include financial support, mentoring and coaching, and membership into a nationwide community of peers. The Knowles Teacher Initiative supports fellows financially by offering grants to cover expenses associated with purchasing classroom materials and engaging in professional development. Additionally, fellows are eligible to request funds to develop and execute leadership activities that have an impact beyond their own classroom. In addition to the grants, fellows are eligible to receive stipends. We recognize that our fellows are highly accomplished and have often made sacrifices, both in money spent on teacher prep and opportunity costs incurred by choosing a lower paying profession. These stipends allow them to reduce debts they may have incurred and reduce the financial burden that teachers often bear, both of which are factors that contribute to sustainability in the profession. Alternatively, stipends can be used to support fellows financially during the summer months, allowing them to concentrate on reflecting on the past year, preparing for the coming year, and professional development, rather than taking on a part-time job during the summer, as many teachers need to do. We value the expertise and knowledge of skillful teachers, which is why we support our fellows with mentors and coaches. In fact, we recruit staff with significant teaching experience to support our fellows. Our experienced teaching fellow staff with over 100 years of teaching experience view themselves first and foremost as teachers. Our staff regularly check in with fellows, support them to plan and reflect on instruction, talk them through challenging professional dilemmas, and support them through personal challenges. Staff observe fellows teach, either virtually or in person, and coach them into improvement in a way that fellows direct. In addition to staff, each team supports fellows with 2 or 3 veteran teachers, most of them with over 20 years of experience, both as teachers and teacher leaders. These team specialists bring on-the-ground expertise and credibility. They attend meetings, support fellows in their inquiry, and provide counsel as true master teachers. Knowles Fellows are able to tap into a support network of nearly 450 teachers who are committed to improving math and science education. From in-person conversations that take place at meetings to virtual conversations that take place in our online community, invaluable support is mere moments away. Next, we'll discuss eligibility. Prospective applicants must meet the following eligibility requirements. The fellowship seeks to support individuals who intend to make teaching their primary career. In order to be eligible for the fellowship, applicants must have recent knowledge of the content they intend to teach. Specifically, applicants must have earned a degree between 2013 and September 1st, 2023. Additionally, applicants must have earned a secondary certification somewhere between January 1, 2018 and September 1, 2023, with the goal of becoming a full-time high school math or science teacher no later than fall of 2023. Last, the fellowship is intended to support teachers who are in their first or second year of teaching during the first year of the fellowship. I will make a note here, for this year only, you can be a third-year teacher. For the purpose of eligibility, we consider an applicant's first year of teaching to be the first year in which they are a full-time teacher of record for the full academic year. We recognize that even with these specific criteria, it is certainly possible that you have specific questions about your situation. And we do want to make sure that you're able to confirm your eligibility before investing the time needed to apply for our fellowship. So if you have any questions regarding eligibility, you can send your inquiry to apply@knowlesteachers.org, and we'll be sure to respond quickly. Last, I'll highlight the application process. To be considered for a 2023 Knowles Teaching Fellowship, applicants must submit an online application, participate in an individual interview, and participate in group interviews. As part of the application process, applicants are required to write 3 essays and obtain 3 letters of recommendation describing how they meet each of the 3 criteria. In addition, all applicants submit a CV or resume and unofficial transcripts from all of their college experiences. The application is open now and will close in January of 2023. You can visit our website to complete a brief form to see the application. Following a review of the written applications, semifinalists will be identified. Applicants who are selected as semifinalists will receive an email in February inviting them to schedule a Zoom interview. The individual interview lasts approximately 1 hour and is designed to help us learn more about applicants with respect to our 3 criteria. We may ask about experiences applicants wrote about in their essays or information contained in their transcripts or letters of recommendation. If an applicant is selected as a finalist, we will invite them to participate in group interviews, which will take place in April of 2023. The group interviews take place throughout the day, beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and may go well into the evening. Participation in all the activities is mandatory, and none of the activities for group interviews can be rescheduled. An applicant should make sure that they're available on that day. And if they are selected as a finalist, but determined later that they cannot attend group interviews, their application would need to be withdrawn and declined at that point. Each year, we evaluate fellowship applicants with regard to 3 selection criteria: Successful fellowship applicants possess the potential to develop the content knowledge needed for teaching, exemplary teaching practices, and the qualities of a teacher leader. The first of our criteria is the potential to develop the content knowledge needed for teaching. On our website, you can find a full description of this criteria. In short, we're looking for people who have a strong preparation in their content discipline, who also have the potential to develop the specialized content knowledge that teachers need to teach. We do expect that fellows have at least a bachelor's degree in a field connected to the subject they intend to teach. This does not necessarily mean that if an applicant intends to teach math, for example, that they must have a degree in math. Some of our math fellows have degrees in engineering or other related fields. But it does mean that an applicant should have significant depth, breadth, and interconnectedness of knowledge from the coursework that they have taken. In general, successful candidates have at least a 3.0 GPA in their college coursework and in their math and science coursework specifically. In addition to evaluating a candidate's coursework, we also look at an applicant's response to the essay that addresses the content knowledge needed for teaching, the letter of recommendation written to address that, and any awards, honors, internships, or other distinctive content-related experiences that they have had. I do want to say an additional word about the letter of recommendation. You'll notice that I said the letter of recommendation is written to address content knowledge. It is important to realize that the 3 letters of recommendation are all written to a different criteria. For content knowledge needed for teaching, we're seeking someone who can directly address a candidate's potential to develop content knowledge needed for teaching, not just a general letter of recommendation. When you select recommenders in our online system, you'll indicate which recommender you want to address content knowledge, and it should be someone who can speak to your math or science background. The second criterion focuses on an applicant's potential to develop exemplary teaching practices. Again, you can find a full description of this criteria on our website. In short, we're seeking candidates who are deeply committed to teaching math or science at the high school level, who understand that teaching is a complex endeavor that requires a significant investment to continued growth, and who have a well-developed habit of reflection that allows them to learn from their experiences. They also critically examine their own practices with the goal of leveraging these strengths and promoting equitable learning opportunities for all students. When assessing an applicant's potential in this area, we will look at the essay as well as their resume or CV. Typically, the letter of recommendation for this criterion is written by someone who knows the candidate's potential as a teacher. The third selection criterion is the potential to develop the qualities of a teacher leader. The Knowles Teacher Initiative is committed to the belief that teachers can and should be change agents in education. Knowles seeks candidates who have developed their capacity for collaborative leadership in previous experiences and demonstrate the propensity to continue to develop as leaders in and from the classroom. We review the essay written for leadership, as well as review the CV or resume. Letters of recommendation for this criterion speak to a candidate's leadership potential and may not necessarily be someone who knows the candidate from an academic or teaching setting. At this time, I'm going to pause and open the floor for questions.
Jen, there was a question about the total value of the financial support.
Yeah, so we estimate it's about $50,000. It's more than $50,000 over the course of the fellowship. In general, fellows have access to around a little more than $9,000 a year. That's subject to change from board approval, little asterisk there. But then you include also the invaluable support that we get through the cohort meetings and travel. All of the travel to cohort meetings and all of the expenses associated with that are fully covered by the foundation.
Thank you. Lauren asked, when we ask those recommenders to write us letters, should we be specifying what they need to write focusing on, or are they informed of that separately?
That's a good question. So you should talk with the people that you want to ask for your recommenders and share the criterion with them, and then it will be clear to them that they have been asked to write for us which specific criterion you have asked them to write for. Any other questions?
Not seeing anything right now. Oh, okay, we just got a question from Denise. Denise asks, you discussed the 2 in-person sessions every year. What kind of involvement is there during the rest of the year?
Sure. So there are 3 meetings during the year. One is in the summer, then there's a fall cohort meeting and a spring cohort meeting. And then throughout the year, fellows might be involved in smaller online groups through their inquiry groups, of which they would schedule and set up as they need and works. We do have what we can call continuous engagement, where we're suggesting that fellows might be engaged in doing maybe a particular reading to help kind of connect what we're doing from one meeting to the next, participating in our online discussion, but there's no like official, like you have to do this in this month or that month, but we are working so that our goal is that it feels continuous and that it feels highly connected to the fellow's own classroom and own work, so that it's integrated in and it's not an extra burden.
Thank you. Lauren asks, is there financial assistance available to attend the conferences or meetings?
Yes, so all of the Knowles required meetings, such as the summer, fall, and spring cohort meetings, all of those are, again, paid for by Knowles. There's no expense to the fellows. And then there is funding if fellows want to attend a different meeting for their own professional development, such as maybe attending an NCTM or NSTA conference. There's a grant process that they go through to write, and they are eligible to have that funded by us as well.
Someone asked, how many individuals usually apply to this opportunity?
It varies a little from year to year, but we usually have over 200 or so right on there. Give another few seconds for any last questions coming in. All right. Yeah, Angelina, I think you want to go to the last slide there. So again,
Yes,
just to learn more about the process, be notified, visit our website. If you have any questions that weren't addressed in the process in this presentation or on our website, you can contact us by email for more assistance. If there are no other questions, then thank you all for your time and attention today, and have a great day.
Sorry, Jen, we just got one more question from
Oh,
Lauren.
sure.
She asked how many of those are asked to interview usually?
Trying to do the math here quickly. It's in the 70s that are asked to the group interview, and then we award about 35.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone for attending.